Hi, friends. Thanks for tuning in to the Mental Fitness Unscripted podcast, where our conversation will encourage your healthy living journey. Inspired by our Team Quadzilla coaching motto, Healthy Living Starts Between Your Ears, we talk about mental fitness in ways that challenge us to think about our thinking regarding topics like habits, leadership, exercise, values, marriage, parenting, and faith. Our hope with this podcast is to sharpen you as we sharpen ourselves to be all we were made to be. So let's dive right into the conversation on this episode of Mental Fitness Unscripted.
Good morning, Chad.
Hello.
Good to get back with you.
Yes.
We're back on a roll 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah. How about that?
after my absence. So. Well, good. What you got on your mind today? What are you dealing with today?
I got some stuff, but I think it's your turn.
My turn.
Yeah.
I promised you a couple of weeks ago that I'd talk about a thing that has really helped me over the years. What's interesting is I just got off of a seminar. I live in the West, and so I had to get up early to make it to a seminar that was in the East. And so I got up at 6 o'clock and joined this seminar. And it's interesting that it kind of falls in line with what I was going to talk about today. Back to that, it just happens that way.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Do you ever get stuck? Do you ever get stuck trying to, you've grown this big, your envelope has grown this big with whatever you're growing in, and you feel stuck at that envelope, and you keep thinking, what can I do more to expand that? What can I do more to progress? What can I do more to get to the next step, to a higher plateau? Just however you describe that. Have you ever been that way?
Oh my gosh. Isn't that life?
And
I
I
don't know.
believe it
I think
is.
for people who are trying to grow and to be better and improve, that's a regular challenge. And man, I face that all the time, and it can be a source of discouragement, because you in the feeling stuck and
Right.
just not really knowing, well, what else could I be doing or should I be doing? Or in some instances, for me, I'm just afraid.
Okay.
I don't know if I can do what I believe it's going to take to do the next step, or there's part of me that doesn't even really want to, because I know it's going to be hard and I'm going to fail and I don't want to fail. And so I end up just kind of, kicking rocks at status quo, and, as insane as it sounds, just kind of living there in that stuck. And so, yeah, I'm kind of a mess that way sometimes.
Okay, you're not alone. We all are. We're all a mess that way. It's just human. It's just the human condition. How does that make you feel being stuck there? Just describe that feeling to me.
Well, it's kind of a mix of it's a mix for me. It's a mix of discouragement, um, and then some fear, and maybe some it's all negative, actually. It's just kind of stuck. I mean, it's you can't get out. It's helpless sometimes, maybe, or just I don't know, maybe even some anxiety with it, because you know that there's more and that you could, but the obstacles seem too much. And so you're just, like I say, kicking rocks about, oh shucks, I guess I'm stuck.
Okay. you just mentioned something, and I totally agree with what you just said, but you just mentioned something. I'm not sure you knew that you said it, okay?
All right.
You do you feel like there's this inner push or this inner capability to progress and grow? Do you ever feel that drive
Oh yeah,
inside? Okay.
absolutely.
So
Yeah, I'm convinced that's part of just how we're made, is we're made to grow and improve and be better.
I totally agree with that. I think that success is when we can find that key and progress in that thing that we feel stuck in. Would you agree that
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah.
success? You know, whatever it is. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, how do you reconcile that usually? So you get stuck, you're in that envelope and you're just bumping up against it. How do you reconcile that?
Uh, so to be completely vulnerable and honest here, sometimes the answer is meaningless distraction.
Okay.
Can I just throw that
Hey,
out there? It's like, let me completely avoid that thing and busy myself with stupid stuff. And then I can claim that I don't have capacity to do, whatever those things are that it takes to progress. So that's probably my default
okay.
is the distraction.
And here again, you are not alone. I'm going to say almost 100% of people do that very same thing because it hurts when we
Yeah.
bump up against that. And so we
Yeah.
have to reconcile it in our head because this inner drive is going, Chad, Todd, you're better.
Yeah.
Go after
Yeah.
it. And then we get all motivated. We'll watch a Les Brown video on
Yeah.
YouTube, whatever, and get all motivated. And
Yep.
we bump up against it. And what's funny is we'll even know some of the steps to do, but we fail to pull the trigger and just take that
Yes.
action. Okay. And
Hmm.
you described it so well. So what we do is we reconcile it and we go, well, I guess I'm just not that guy, or I don't have that
Yep.
skill, or I mean, there's a variety of ways, but we default to how can I cover this and make myself feel good and forget about that. And that's where
Yep.
entertainment and distraction and all these other
Hmm.
things jump in. And what's the old movie? Squirrel,
Yeah. Exactly.
and
Yeah, that's exactly. Yes.
and we
Oh my
actually
gosh.
start to look for things. And what's funny is sometimes we even have this blessed moment where we get a notification of squirrel. Oh, good.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, exactly.
wow, did you know this is happening in Syria? Or
Oh boy. Yeah.
you know, and so our brain, we have to reconcile that. I feel this push to progress, and we feel this stuckness. Can I call it stuckness? Is that a word?
Sure. Yeah.
We feel this stuckness, and I have to reconcile the two somehow. And this is where our self talk really gets in the road. Okay.
Mm,
I guess I'm not good enough, or, we
mm.
have to reconcile that. And then that even hurts worse. And so we look for some distraction. All right. Having gone through this little motion here, have you ever sat down and you write things out and you list them out and you analyze it and I mean, you look at books and you get all these ideas and you write them down and you're still bumping up against the envelope where we're comfortable. You ever had that and you just analyze it and you
Yes.
need
This is how um, this is how I've operated for a very long time, is I call it information overload.
Mhm.
I would collect massive amounts of great inputs, but so much so that I could never process any of them or take any kind of action on any of them. And it became just another one of these distractions.
Yep.
But I could cover it in, well, look at me taking in all of these great inputs and ideas,
Yeah, I'm
but
working.
never actually having to do anything with it and make any kind of change or progress toward the thing, because I'm just like, well, I'll just take it all in, and maybe tomorrow or someday later I can take some kind of action, and I never really would, or I would so slowly and incrementally that it hardly mattered.
Okay, have we described this to where we have a good idea of where we're at?
Yeah.
Because we all deal with this. Some are better at dealing with it than others. I'm like you. I find myself covering myself. Oh, I need more information. I need more knowledge. I need more training. I need, and what it is just this perpetual student, never going out and getting into the job. I become the student, and I can quote chapter and verse. I can give you lists. I can give you, I can do that. But I run into the same thing. Here's the thing that I want to. This is what's helped me. Okay, we've got that envelope that we're working in. What it is that we're bumping up against who we are.
Okay.
Okay. And that's the envelope we work in. And it's an identity that we have embraced. This is who I am. I'm comfortable with this. And every time something comes at us that we feel that drive inside, oh, I need to do that, or I need to be that, or we bump up against who our identity is in our head. Okay. And so we bump up against that. And there's nothing wrong with getting information. There's nothing wrong with putting together lists and so forth. But I think what we have to do is we have to just retreat and come back to the point of, who am I? What's my identity? And by doing that, what we've done is we've challenged who we are in our head, and now we can expand that a little bit, and that's where the scary stuff is. Okay, that's where the scary stuff is taking on that new identity. Let me use an example. You and Angie became a partnership. You got married. You made agreements with each other and covenanted with each other that you're going to be a couple and so forth. Well, as a natural outcome to that, what happened to you guys? Well, Brandon showed up. Okay. Was that a stretch? Did it scare you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody's ready for being a parent. That's impossible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But see, now you went from individual that's now in a relationship. Even that was scary. Asking Angie to,
For sure. Yeah.
asking Angie to marry you and put together that relationship. See, that was a new identity for you, because now you've got Chad individual who's going to become Chad husband.
Mm.
And now you've moved on to Chad parent. Okay. Can you see how that
Yeah.
envelope is
Yeah.
just okay? Now, did you have all the answers on how to be Chad the husband before you did it?
Not even close.
Okay. So when
Not
did
even
you learn
close.
most of those lessons?
Still
Okay.
learning. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason that you're able to learn those lessons, see, we have to expand that identity of who am I, and then become. That's a really important word. Become that identity. And in becoming that identity, we become we become that, and we expand that envelope. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden Brandon shows up, ta-da, as a natural outcome of becoming partnered with your wife. Now we're building a family. You take on a new role. I'm husband. That expanded you. Now I'm father.
Yeah.
I've expanded you. Okay. And I use this because a lot of us fall into this. Not everybody's a father, not everybody's married. I understand that, but we feel that is the next step. I need to get married and so forth, and we work toward that. But we have to expand that identity, and pretty soon you kind. I don't know that you ever accept it until after it's happened, but you have
Mm.
to accept it to some point of my new identity is this. I've expanded it. Now I've got to become that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So in a different way to say, maybe it's the becoming is the process of after the thing. So the thing happens, or you take the action, and the becoming uh, follows it. You don't become. It's impossible. It's impossible to become the father without having a kid.
Right.
So there's no, in that sense, there's really very limited preparation or inputs that you can take for that to, expand your envelope, as you say. So this is really a fantastic illustration, because it proves that I'm thinking of this very backwards.
Well, yeah,
You-
we want to have all the knowledge. We want to become that before we take that step, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's just not how it works.
well,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. We have
Yeah.
to take the step. So we have to do the thing first and then become
Mm.
that thing.
Yeah.
And then we have it. And then what we have to do is expand again and do. Let's take being a father. I mean, you can be a father and not do anything, but now you've got the responsibility of raising a child. So now you can expand even that father thing. I want
Yeah.
to be, and what you do is you line up these values of what kind of father you want to be, and you need to start doing those values, and then you
Yeah.
become that father. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Okay. And so
Hmm.
anytime we come at our envelope, whatever it is, we have that drive to move our career, or we have that drive to start this business, or whatever that is, you got to jump in the pool and get wet,
Yeah.
then start swimming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Even
Hmm.
taking swimming lessons, you had to get in the pool.
Right.
Were you a swimmer yet? No, but you had to
Yeah.
do the things. You had to get in the pool. And so I'm not saying don't, we have to take small incremental steps. Don't just jump in the deep end. Other than I know that's how my father learned, is pretty
Yeah.
much my grandfather threw him in the water and said swim. So anyway, it's a do, be, and have thing, and it just becomes this cycle. And we have to listen to that voice inside. And here's where I run into it. I run into the envelope, and I'm being really wordy here. I need to be more concise. But what I sit back and I go, okay, what can I do? And the problem is I'm asking the person that's stuck inside of this envelope to look outside of the envelope. That's a really bad person to ask. That's why
Mm.
mentors are so great. That's why books are so great. That's, coaches and so forth, because now they're looking outside of my envelope and going, well, try this. And so when you find yourself getting stuck, make sure that you're asking the right questions. Make
Mm.
sure that you're asking the right people. Okay. There's nothing wrong with asking yourself what to do, but now you've got to start looking outside and going, okay, what I need a bigger map, if that makes sense. Some
Yeah.
sometimes our
Huh.
map's this big and we're trying to get to another place that's off the map. Well, how do I get there?
Hmm.
I need a bigger map.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think for, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but the paralysis that comes from not knowing what happens when you take the step is really scary. And so I don't, and that that's kind of that's the stuckness. But to understand in between my ears here, to understand that I have to take the action first and then kind of grow into that, um, really flips on its head the way I've approached such scary things. And if the thing that I'm pursuing is aligned with my values and my purpose, and further, I'll say, if I know that I have the Lord on my side, giving me already everything that I need to do whatever aligns with His will, I really have no good reason to not take whatever that action is and then expect that I'll have or can get what I need to grow into that. Just like being a husband or a father, well-intentioned to do the right thing, so yeah, that's fantastic.
Okay, so here again, I don't know that you've done that you know that you've done this, but you've done it again. Here you go. We have to accept that identity, but the why behind taking that new identity has to be so strong that anything that gets in our way, and I'm speaking to
Yeah.
me, I mean, I'm a student
Mm.
of this still, okay? But I take on that identity of father. Why? Why am I taking on the identity of father? Well, I've got a child coming. Okay. Now let's look at it a little more. Do I want to be an impactful father and really help this child? Why? Why would I
Yeah.
do that?
Yeah.
And if we can answer that question, this identity becomes, I'm
Hmm.
not going to say easy, but you accept it so deeply that you'll charge through a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the personal compelling reason why to do anything has to be very solid,
Yep.
or else you'll quit. And that's what happens to me is, I can look back and say, well, why didn't that work? It's, well, I didn't really want it bad enough. I didn't have a very good reason.
You didn't see yourself there.
Yeah,
You didn't have that identity.
right. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Okay. So yeah. Anyway, there's my thing. Um,
Yeah.
just to add a little bit more, it's all about feelings and it's not about knowledge and analysis. The why, the identity, it's all about feeling. It's all about emotion. We can validate it with logic and with knowledge and so forth, but it's all in how you feel about it. If you feel that why deeply, you'll take on that identity
Mm.
and you'll find whatever you need along the path as you're doing.
Mm. So let me process that for a minute, because everything that I study about feelings is that while feelings are very real, they are also very fleeting, and we need to be careful not to be driven by them because they change so fast. So um,
Just,
help me
just
to understand kind of where that fits in when we can't really rely on our feelings so much to
okay.
drive us.
And I thank you for asking that question. We have to be very careful about our passions. Okay.
Hmm.
but we have to become very passionate about what we've decided to be.
Okay.
Okay. Usually our passions are left, they're like a rudderless ship. Okay.
Mm.
They'll just go wherever they go. But if we build the ship with the rudder, in other words, my identity and my why, and then we become passionate about those, they're guided and they can be
Yeah.
directed.
Very good. So those have to be rooted in something. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Values, character,
Right.
you've got to go back to, your why and say, okay, this is my established set of values and the character that I want in this identity. And
Right.
this is why I'm going to do that. What's the outcome?
Yeah.
Yeah, my passions, if left alone, I'll to your point, we have
Yeah.
to guard those feelings, but it is all about feelings, but it's the controlled feelings,
Mm.
not just
Yeah.
see if I sat here and I'm in sales. If I sat here and said, "Well, how am I feeling right now?" I don't want to call anybody.
Yeah.
Is that going to build my business?
Right. You
And
can't be driven by that feeling.
I
You
can't
have
be
to
driven
control
by,
it.
yeah, I can't be driven by that feeling or that passion of wanting to be comfortable. I have to be driven by, okay, I've got a family to feed. I've got things that I want to progress so that I can be more impactful to people around me. Plus, my customer will be much, much better off if I make that phone call. Even if they tell me no, I've given them an opportunity to become better.
Yeah.
Okay. I have
Yeah.
to be driven by that. And so I have to have that feeling and become passionate about that.
That's good.
Did that
Good.
help?
Yeah.
Did that
Yep.
help clarify it? Okay.
Yep. For sure.
All
For
right.
sure.
Well, there's what I promised to share with you.
Yeah. That's good.
How many months ago was that?
Yeah. Well, as usual, it always comes out in a pretty good time. So,
What's funny is I've actually named this. It's called Section 9 for me. Section 9.
oh,
All you have to do is look at me and say Section 9, and I'll go, okay.
that's
I
I like
name
that.
I name
Yeah.
things sometimes. So
Section 9.
Section 9.
It's very official.
Not to be confused with Section 8 in the military when somebody's
Right.
crazy,
Yeah.
Clinger on MASH.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else?
No, that's good.
I took the
Yeah.
bulk of the time.
No, this is a valuable lesson today. I
Okay.
like it.